what method do you have or you use with your team to get to that number?
Yeah, it's all the BRRRR method. And the beautiful thing about the BRRRR method, it's 5 letters, but you can be flexible. Like we have bought, we have a flipping company that buys and sells 250 houses a year. And, obviously we pick rentals off from that, but that's one at a time. Like that's not going to add up super quickly. Over time it will. But we have that running in the background, constantly adding. I don't know exactly, but I think we bought about 20 or 25 this year, a couple a month as far as rentals that I keep. But like we're adding that constantly. And then we picked off bigger chunks of like the 42 pack of houses we bought. We BRRRR'd it. 42 pack of houses. We got it. Don't need to go to the backstory, but we got it for 3.5 million, 83 grand a door. Not many people were able to take that down, as well as the financing and management of it. We use a private lender for the down payment and rehab, a bank for the other 80%, and then rehabbing them, make them nicer, and then we're going to refinance next year and pay back our private lender plus interest. So it's just like an extended BRRRRs. We've done that with all 6 apartment complexes that we own. We've done that with the self storage that I own. So you can BRRRR anything if there's upside in equity through rehabbing, and it cash flows after the fact. So it's just all about leverage. Like you mentioned Musk earlier, like he leveraged his way to where he is. Jeff Bezos leveraged his way to where he is. Like every successful business owner, leverage, or to that degree, leverages their way to it. Like Apple sits on 200 billion cash every time they release their quarterly books, 100 billion debt almost every time over the past 2 years. They could pay off their debt twice over, but they understand the value of leverage and scaling with that debt. Plus the tax benefits of debt. That's not tax. So I've been able to pull equity from my rental portfolio in the 6 and 7 figures and still not pay a dime of tax on that because it's debt and it's refinance money, and still have that equity that you mentioned earlier between the 25 and 45. So if you can like grasp leverage and be responsible with what you're buying with it, that's like the secret sauce that most people are scared of to actually get to the next level and scale.
And you mentioned the word scale. I heard you mention this before. I can't remember where it was. I believe it was on Bigger Pockets
Yeah, I did an episode on
podcast.
scaling with them. Yep.
Do you still use the scaling strategy? And can you give my listeners just a little insight into that?
Yeah, for sure. So scaling it. So quickly, a quick recap on it. So the BRRRR method: buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. Repeat's good. It's great. It's a cool method. It's been around a long time. Brandon Turner kind of coined those letters, but this method's been around a long time. And that repeat step just wasn't like teeth sink inable, to give you a made up word, as I wanted. Like go back and repeat. What if you did it wrong? So scale is like a process that I kind of developed and made an own acronym for it. And like you said, Bigger Pockets had me on an episode just to talk about scaling. And it's a method that I've used to scale education, flipping. Like it can work in any industry. So in general, I'll just quickly go over it. So the scale is an acronym as well. So buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and scale. The S stands for systems. Like if you want to scale, you have to create systems. I don't like it. Lucas does. My COOs do. So great. But you need systems. If you want to buy more rentals, if you want to rehab more rentals, if you want to get more funding, you have to create systems around that, or you're just going to be inefficiently flying through the wind. But if you can have systems that you follow along the way, it takes discipline to do that, you'll scale. The C stands for community. You have to get involved in your community. Most people have to pay for that. Like I spend about 100 grand a year to be in masterminds. I don't know one successful person that I consider like ultra successful that doesn't like pay to be in a mastermind, a mentorship, a community, a life coach, whatever it is, a marriage coach, whatever. Like getting some help from a professional that knows something that you don't, or that's where you want to be. So you need to do that, in my opinion, if you want to scale. Action is the A. You have to take action, like massive action, like continual action. You just have to always be acting, because that's where you learn. Like I tell my students, I feel like we have the best community and it's not even close. And I'll teach you 75% of it, or I'll teach you 25% of it. You're still going to learn 75% by taking action. So I literally cannot teach it without you taking action. You're going to learn on the job. L stand for lead flow. Any business, this works for all businesses, you need to increase your lead flow, especially in real estate. It's a numbers game. If you want to add 10 rentals this year, you're probably going to have to look at 75 to 100 houses. It's just a funnel. So you have to increase your lead flow. And then the E is extra funding. You need extra funding. You need more than one private lender and more than one bank if you want to scale. You need 3 private lenders, 2 hard money lenders, some lines of credit. And then you need 3 or 4 small local banks or credit unions. Like you need volume in your funding category to scale. So just that, in my opinion, that's how I've scaled, is your systems, community, action, lead flow, and extra funding. That works for me, and it works for a lot of the people that I help and coach and teach as well. It's a good process. It just takes time. It's simple, but it's not easy. Most people confuse those two words. They're not synonyms, easy and simple. Just because I make it sound simple in a video or on this podcast, it does not mean it's easy. It's not. We're creating wealth. We're not creating widgets. That requires a lot of hard work and effort and blood, sweat, and tears and regret and mistakes and screw ups and failing, but it's simple. So you just have to stick with it.
Make sure to like, comment, share, and most importantly, keep it uplifting.
Take it up, listen.